Welcome to Marvel Maniac and MCU After Show. This is your host, Eric Cicada, aka Mr. Honest. Tonight is the night that we get Daredevil Born Again. And I thought I would be coming to you after I've seen all the episodes, but there's a cold open that just happened. And I'm 15 minutes into the first episode. Spoilers, we're talking about it real fast before I go back to watch this 2-hour premiere. I don't know how it could have come out of the gate any stronger. I'm on the verge of tears, and this show's gonna be a hell of a ride if it's gonna be like these first 15 minutes. So basically, this first episode's called Heaven's Half Hour, and I even noted at first the filming was so cinematic, so nice. Nelson, Murdock, Page, they got the attorneys at law. They have their office running. The classic three: Karen, Matt, and Foggy. And you know what? There's been a lot of shows, even seasons of this show and seasons of other shows of the same vein, where we don't jump off on an explosive, insane note. However, this didn't even give you room to think about it. We got jumped. We got jumped at Josie's bar. I think it's Josie's. I'm traumatized, but it was amazing because they're going there already. They're already going there. It was a normal and exciting, rather unsuspicious night at the bar. And I want to say Foggy was really hitting it on with some girl, and I like his beard, and Karen looks exactly the same, like identical to how she looked before, and so does Matt. Like, do these people age? And yeah, so we get a call. Foggy gets a call from someone, and it's his cousin or relative. I don't know who it is. It's somebody he had to put in a stash house because he was afraid for his life for one reason or another. So Foggy gets a call, and this guy's panicked, and they're coming for him. We know immediately who it is because we see on the other side of the line a target and a bullet hit it right in the bullseye. It's Bullseye. It's Agent Poindexter back for frickin' revenge. If you happen to decide to watch this as the first episode of Daredevil that you watched, basically the guy that's wreaking all this havoc was the main villain of last season. He was going around in a Daredevil actual Daredevil suit, and pretending to be Daredevil while murdering countless people. And this cold open has him return, and it's a shock because we're taken by surprise in many ways real fast. One is the cinematic value of Daredevil climbing up a wall. I can't have words right now, guys. Daredevil climbing up a wall and swinging with his hooks, with his nunchuck. What are they called? The hand weapons. He was swinging around like Spider-Man with them. He looked so cool. And then once he gets to the place that he was going, he hears on the other line, Fogg, I had to send them to you. They want to know where you were. Oh my God! So Matt starts making it back, and I know we just all saw this, but I'm. This is therapy. Matt makes it back to the bar, minutes late because Foggy gets shot, completely devastated, and he's on the ground, and Karen literally would have died. I thought I was almost positive we were about to see her die too. Instead, we get her perspective of trying to keep Foggy alive while Matt makes it and starts fighting Bullseye throughout the whole bar, up onto the rooftop. One of the coolest fights. I'm already saying cool fights. When I'm saying cool fights, it means I'm a little kid watching Spider-Man for the first time. However, this is a lot dirtier, grittier, nastier. It just got personal way too soon, way too fast. I don't know how you can blame that on Fisk to make them the bad guy right away, except for the fact that Fisk kind of like enabled Poindexter as a killer. I don't know how Poindexter even made it out without being paralyzed. In the last episode of season 3, he was beaten the crap out of to basically death by Kingpin. It looked like he broke his back on a wall. So Matt is devastated because he's hearing Foggy die. He hears Foggy's last breath because he can hear everything. And the way they give that to you as an audience, it's very unique. It's something they tried and did somewhat in the original series, but they give us way more of Matt's perspective, the hearing, the honed in, the superpower of it all. And Daredevil never looked more like a superhero than he ever was, making the previous show a prequel to this show. Born Again, Matt dropped his mask off that roof. I don't know when that happened. It maybe happened like maybe after the events of season 3 of Daredevil, or maybe a year later. I'd say a good bit of time has passed. However, Foggy draws his last breath, and we as the audience don't believe it. I don't. I'm choked up, and I didn't think I was going to be talking to you guys so early. So I'm left off at this point where we just see Foggy's lifeless body, Matt throwing his helmet down, and then the new character, I don't know who this guy is, if he's going to come back, saying, Matt, you're dead, pretty much, he saw him take his mask off. So that is an opening. I think that's the biggest opening to any of the Marvel shows that we've had, and maybe by like 10 miles, but I got the rest of the episodes to watch. If I come in again next time from a big moment in the show, it'll only be for a huge moment. Until then, I'll see you at the end of episode 2. Foggy Nelson, rest in peace. And don't let it be true. Don't let it be true. Please. I'm not really crying, but I'm actually really freaking devastated about this. Should have figured from those trailers, how do you put Matt to the extreme limit? Well, he's got to lose what's closest to him. Oh, my goodness. Okay, I'm going in. An hour and a half or so later. That was actually me. I didn't think I could make my voice sound so cool. Talk to you next time, honest. All right, well, basically, I'm back from watching these 2 episodes of Daredevil. Whew, okay. There's quite a bit to talk about here. There's a lot of setup. I'm kind of thankful that I went back and recorded my immediate reaction to what happened to Foggy at the beginning of the episode, because that definitely takes the cake for one of, if not the craziest, saddest, biggest moments in all of Daredevil history, including all the past seasons of regular Daredevil. Born Again brings its own tone to the table, and I like it. I don't like it, I love it. It's more in line with the MCU. I feel Kevin Feige's hands in this. I feel the Disney megamind that needs to come together to make this more of the Marvel Cinematic Universe's Daredevil and where he's going to go from here. Where we left him before, it's in the past. It's referenced plenty. And if you haven't seen that show, I'd highly recommend, between the weeks of this is going to go for 7 weeks, the first of 7, because I believe at the halfway point of this season, there's going to be one more 2-episode night, but that's it. I'm not a huge fan of the 2-episode nights for this show because a lot does happen in one episode, but it's a nice challenge for me because, I'm trying not to hit. I say this maybe every episode. I'm trying not to hit every single moment that was happening in the show. I just want to touch on the highlights, and I mean overall, these both of these episodes. They started, first one started big, and the second one ended big. But I'd say that they are definitely a 2-parter connector type episode. They do feel like kind of like one big episode. And all of this is dealing in the fallout of Foggy's death. And it's a 1 year later situation. They tried to pull the Avengers Endgame 5 years later, and I didn't. I wasn't as surprised about the 1 year later. I'm not going to get super into this, but, I had a loss of a great friend over 2 years ago now. Just happened to hit the 2 years. And it's traumatizing still. So, very traumatizing and sad. And everyone mourns in their own way. But my point here is that's 2 years, and it's still right for me. The way that Karen and Matt, because Matt experienced it by listening to his best friend's last breaths, and Karen having to literally witness him die. A year is barely a Band-Aid on a wound like that. That's something that affects you for your whole life, losing a dear friend that way. And we heard in the trailers, Fisk asked Matt, why did you stop being a vigilante? And he said a line was crossed. My best friend died. That was the one part that wasn't in the trailer. I'd say it would be a little. I'd be dishonest with you if I didn't expect something along the lines of this happening in the first 2 episodes. so fast into the episode. I couldn't have predicted what it would look like, and I gotta say, it was as sad as the moment was. It was some prime action. Another thing I noticed that. Okay, I feel, and I didn't ever think this when I was watching Daredevil seasons 1, 2, 3, Defenders, but I feel like those are all on like a lot of like tight sets, and it feels more like this show is like filmed in New York, even if it's not, even if they're using some green screen, maybe just in maybe in comparison to me watching season 3 of Daredevil literally yesterday, finishing it, and while watching like the B-roll of this show. The show's got a whole new feel. So Born Again is in a lot of ways kind of like Spider-Man Homecoming, Marvel Cinematic Universe taking over their property again. And the best part about the original first 3 seasons is that they do lead into this, and they are canonized, and they're good. Well, a lot of the shows are good. Iron Fist season 2, I'm going to go back and give it a chance. I actually am, because there's rumors that there's Defenders coming back. There's rumors of each one of them getting their shows back. That's insane. And there's also rumors of Secret Wars and Doomsday being pushed up a year. I've been saying this for a long time on the podcast. It's actually at a few months right now, but I'm going to be honest. I will put it down that they're going to move everything up 1 year. They need to, and I'm sorry to let you down. And I might be wrong. I'm not all knowing, but they need to build more character connection, interwoven story, and something way more definitive to lead up to Doomsday instead of just this rushed 5-movie, 5-series, whatever it's going to be to get to Doomsday, just to get to Doomsday. That's not going to work. The fact that they have to get to it and do it so fast, it's not going to work. So I really actually hope even a half a year, they push these things up a little bit. What if we got both Avengers movies around Christmas time? I mean, that'd be pretty cool. To be honest, I can wait for a way better movie than having an Avengers movie tarnish the legacy of the other Avengers movies, because I got 4 posters on my wall, and they're all the Avengers movies. And Infinity War was by far my favorite of all. It's my favorite all-time movie. And you Netflix fans out there, you guys, I know you wanted to see in some form Daredevil up on that screen with those heroes, because it was in our minds, this was the biggest battle in these 2 movies that anyone's ever going to get. But we didn't get the Defenders. We didn't get acknowledgement of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. People really loved Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I feel like they're getting more of the short end of the stick in terms of continuity and whatnot. The fact is, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did like over 100 episodes, I think. I might be wrong about that, but they did a lot of episodes, a lot of seasons. They had their own versions of very like important heroes like Ghost Rider, and it told its own crazy stories. I personally have left that in the multiverse. I think Coulson died, and I think he's dead in this universe. I don't know what happens the last few seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I couldn't keep up with it, but I liked it. I liked the characters. It was fun. And I'm getting off track here, but this all kind of does tie back into Daredevil, because we're talking about the continuity and where the show picks up, where the other show left off. And killing Foggy like that was a punch to the gut. It was hard to watch, despite who you were, if you've ever seen Daredevil before. But for us fans that have been watching Daredevil from the beginning, we know they went back and added Matt and Foggy and Karen later. Little did we know they just wanted to add them to rip them away from us. Foggy was always the most innocent in the game. He didn't really want to be in the game. He didn't want Matt to be in the suit, and he said, "I didn't want to give you an excuse." That was the last thing he told Matt before, because Foggy loves and hates that Matt's Daredevil. He's worried sick about him when he's Daredevil, but he holds on to that for Matt. Another detail from the beginning before we move on to the rest of the episode, that moment where you knew it was Bullseye, because he literally killed Fly with a paperclip, and it was kind of gross, but like, that was kind of devastating to see him. Like, oh no, Poindexter, what is he gonna do? I thought this guy was gone, and he shows up and he just like ruins Matt Murdock's life and Karen Page's life, and even a year later, like they're on very rough talking terms, and it's very hard for them to talk to each other, which is really sad. Because she was even flirting with Matt at the bar like the night. They set up the night so well, and the cinematography it was amazing. I think I'm repeating myself a bit much. This 1 year later happens, and that's okay. I was like, okay, let's move forward a little bit. By the way, this episode is titled "Hey Heaven's Half Hour." I think I said that earlier. Damn it. You're getting the uncut, real, honest. This is J. Jonah Jameson. No, it's not. That'd be cool if I can get an interview with J. Jonah. One of these days. He'll recognize us. Right, Maniacs? Do you like being called Maniacs? Cheesy, wonky, stupid, adorable? What is it? MarvelManiacPod at gmail.com. Give me your hot takes on Daredevil Born Again. I want to hear what you have to say. That's the 1 year later, and now we learn a little bit more about Fisk. Finally getting to see what's going on in his neck of the woods. I think the snap is vaguely referenced. And I don't know. Like, Vanessa references a time where Fisk was gone. Does that mean when he was in jail? Or does that mean when he was snapped away for 5 years? Because she's like running the criminal enterprise. Well, he's actually becoming a mayor, like a serious mayor. I think they're trying to make him. They're trying to make this story about him becoming a good guy but not being able to because of all the shit he's done in his past. And another great element towards, I just can imagine, like a new viewer, we haven't seen a lot of that violence that he's capable of and kind of the person he was before. And the thing is, it doesn't feel like he's putting on a mask. I think one of the most genuinely great things about Vincent D'Onofrio's, I think I'm saying his name, I'm sorry if I'm not, Wilson Fisk, is the raw emotion he delivers to the role. And the genuine reactions and his performance is genuine. It's pure. So I don't see right through him like I see right through, the evil cops, in the backbone of the second episode. Fisk is convinced he can change the city for the good. And to hear him say, I'm tired of hearing about mass vigilantes. He references Punisher. He references Daredevil and Spider-Man. He's like web slinging. Dude, that's it. Give us another year again, one more time. Let the second Spider-Man movie of this, or the first, or whatever, if it's going to be a new trilogy, let it be about him being with Daredevil, fighting down and taking down Fisk, and have Fisk be the most corrupt, biggest, baddest version of himself that we've ever seen. Maybe even put some super soldier serum in him. You know what I'm saying? We want to see this thing blow up on the big screen. Spider-Man even is getting older. His audience has always been older. I mean, Spider-Man's got a younger audience, but us nerds have been watching Spider-Man our whole life. So there's a lot of things we want to see happen that will just surprise the general audiences. But man, a Spider-Man cameo in this show would feel good. Just to hear him reference is good, to be honest. Like that, they're not referencing the MCU nearly as much as I thought they would. They do, though. There's light references, but they're definitely leaning in on their own tone. They want to kind of make this the big backbone. I'm saying backbone again. the big one of the Disney Plus shows. The one that you can't miss, like Loki. They need another one like that. So they're putting their cards, their energy, their money into this series to make it as good as it can be. And it was going to be originally more than like 12 episodes, I think, originally. That would have been bad because this show is continuous, and it's not as much of a critique of the other show. It's more of just a note. They go a little long. They over-explain some stuff. They have some scenes just to build characters. This show, it even has some of that, but there's a lot more of that cut out because of the 9-episode run. So we're getting more like filled episodes. I'm going to be really real with you here. I don't quite understand how time went from the beginning of these episodes after Foggy died to the end. It went by so fast, and I was like, didn't it say that was an hour? And I even went back and watched the whole beginning again after I recorded that intro. I say I'd give it to the show for this, that it flowed really well, really naturally. I think it was really smart to put out 2 episodes at once, whether it was just so it can get done on time, But they'd have to pick the right 2 episodes, and I think they picked 2 great episodes. We needed to see more Fisk. We needed to see a little more world building. We needed one more kick-ass moment at the end, and we got it. Watching Matt fight is so good and so cool. The choreography is taking like notches up. It's more in Matt's head. Everything is more in Matt's head when we're with him. From his point of view, we get to really hear and see what he's hearing, how he kind of searches a room, searches the street, when he kind of gets influenced by something that he knows he's supposed to be listening to. All this stuff probably he was doing in the last series, but we didn't get that kind of deep kind of version of him where we get to actually like be inside of his head and feel it from his perspective a little bit more. I mean, we're not covering our eyes watching the show, but you know, that was kind of a bad joke. But honestly, I don't know. I'm not going to cut it out. I'm being very uncut today, unscripted. MarvelManiacPod at gmail.com. If you've been listening to any of my after shows, would you prefer I go off an outline like some of the episodes I did before? You could probably know. I don't tell you I'm going off an outline though. Right now I've been taking notes, so you know, I'm just kind of like reminiscing the big parts. And I just feel like Matt hitting up with that therapist was at first maybe just for him to help get over like what was happening, but she definitely plays a role at the end of the episode 2. We'll get the title on that one since we're kind of like talking about them both at once, more so than I thought we would, to be honest. But that's good. I think that's like a good sign. The show's honed in on what's working, and the 2-episode premiere was like honestly, that was a home run idea. Second episode's called Optics. It's referencing how people see Fisk in his first 100 days, and really Fisk gets caught up by a manhole, and he uses his power as mayor because Vanessa, she's kind of like flaunting her power back at him and kind of reminding him of who he is and what he came from. She looks disappointed because she wants Wilson Fisk back, and he's so busy becoming mayor, which was set up in the show Echo. Great show, and it's Daredevil aligned. I can't promise any cameos, but it's got some. I can promise Wilson Fisk, and Mandy got skinny. I like it, but at the same time, I want to see him fluff up a little bit. You know, he's supposed to be big, but you can only be happy for the actor, and he brings it. Like I said, raw emotion. Not to say Charlie Cox doesn't have any either. I mean, literally that scene where he heard Foggy die and he was lifting up Poindexter and saying why, and then you see this moment on Poindexter's face where he looks dead, you know, quiet, and then he starts laughing in Matt's face, smiling, and Matt throws him off the building, and he freaking survives really well. But by the time they hit the courtroom for this, he's looking like he never got hurt. But when he got face first on the ground, I could have sworn I thought he was like missing his nose. I might be wrong though, but it did look a little like that. Maybe in the court trial I missed, like, did he look like he was wearing prosthetics? I don't think so. I don't know how he survived that. I think he's a normal guy with like exceptional, let's say, skill with aim. I feel like I'm talking like Fisk now. I like Fisk so much, and that's what's crazy. And then when a superhero show or movie can get you to see the villain's side, it's very special. And Vincent D'Onofrio, I'm using his name again because I've been a fan of this show since 2015 when it came out, and this is honestly one of the best things Disney Plus has done already. I could tell by the way they filmed these first 2 episodes. There's a lot of love, care, homage, and picking up where the last story left off, and acknowledging that there was a time that passed in between. I just want to know who got snapped and who didn't. I don't know why that's not a bigger deal. I feel like that would affect both of these characters' lives drastically if not both of them got snapped, or which one stayed. You know what I mean? Was that a reference that Vanessa was saying? Did he get snapped? And Matt, I don't know. It's just there's no sign of it. It's not relevant to this story, and I guess that's something I'm disappointed about, because you can't have something like that happen on Earth and not have it be like a bookmark in your life. And it's a bookmark in like everyone's life who literally either saw half of their loved ones die or appear 5 years later in an instant and have missed everything and you lost your place in the world. That's going to affect these characters, especially Matt being a lawyer. I mean, there's got to be crazy law things going on when it comes to like, oh, I own this home. No, I bought this home because you died. That stuff like that. I really thoroughly enjoyed Matt and Fisk's conversation that was from the trailers in the restaurant. Even though we saw most of the beats, them throwing us there in the trailer was really bold, and I like that because that's interesting. Have you ever seen these guys sitting across from each other? And especially Fisk going as far as saying, I must admit it's not bad seeing you, or whatever he says. And, Matt is more stern and quiet. He really thinks Fisk is playing the game, trying to do some dirty stuff under the rug here. And Fisk, as we know in these very 2 episodes, he is getting a bite back from the police force, and they know who he is. They know what he did. This guy walks up to him, and he says, I know what you did, and I know I'm going to get you out of office before your 30 days. And, Fisk, if you knew Fisk, like, the way this guy was talking to him, that guy would be completely demolished by the old Wilson Fisk. Like, he would be laid out on the ground no matter who he was. We're witnessing a new Fisk retain his anger. I'm thinking he's putting it in a place that's all going to blow up at once, like an Incredible Hulk style. I don't think he's going to get a super soldier serum, but in a way, to make him a baddie for Spider-Man, I want to see him get a power up somehow. We're in the MCU. I swear Matt referenced a wizard or something in this episode. Like, he referenced something magical. He's taking on magical cases, and that's good to know. It's good to know that he still wants to be a lawyer. Sad to know that he took the mask down. And Wilson gives him a thorough warning. After Matt gives him a warning, if I catch you slipping up, I'll be watching. And Fisk gives him another warning. If you go back to being a vigilante, I'll be watching. And you're not going to be able to do that anymore. Okay, so the trailer had like 5 different versions of Daredevil suits. I think he's diving into a phase of him just being Daredevil and living in the suit. That's one of my favorite type of superhero story. I don't want to know what it smells like. I just want to see it happen. Fisk, ask him, why'd you stop being a vigilante across the line? I forgot to say the thing that he replied with was tragedy can form a man. So that's why he thinks that Matt stopped. Well, that's why Matt stopped. I mean, the Foggy thing was too much for him. It'd be too much for me. It'd be too much for anyone human with a heart and a soul. Bullseye made himself a really good villain, and he's not dead yet. Doing something rare. Marvel is not killing off their villain, keeping him in there. He's going to come back and haunt Matt again, and I think the next time Matt will be ready. Something that is hard, though, to deal with is how will he actually be able to go back and being Daredevil when Fisk knows his secret identity, and all he really has to do is get him arrested or a raid on his house or something like that to find out, get all the goodies and put him under the law for being a vigilante. I don't know how that's going to be dealt with, because will we have a moment where Fisk brings Murdock up to his suite and he says, look, it's kind of like in Captain America, vigilantes, they're ruining the city. I want you to be my vigilante, my eyes and ears. Wait. My ears, my very strong listening ears. I need you to be, because I need you to put the suit back on for whatever reason, because there's a bigger bad. We got to team up and fight so we could fight this out in a movie later. That's how I feel. And I think that's what's going to happen. Too much camaraderie between those guys at the beginning for them not to join forces again. Joining forces with the enemy is such a fun trope. It's scary yet annoying yet, I'm thinking Dragon Ball Z. It's Dragon Ball Super brings Frieza back and they're teammates and stuff. But Frieza's still evil, but they got to work together to take down the biggest bad Jiren. Sorry, I've never referenced Dragon Ball on this show. So Fisk does get elected mayor in this episode, and that's kind of where we leave it, because Matt's walking through the crowds cheering his name. Chaos, we get to hear a little bit through him. People are getting threatened, and it's just a good sign of the chaos to come. The all the moments that are going to be transpiring in the next weeks and the next episodes. If will Fisk show his true colors? That's another big question. New Year's. It's New Year's. Matt sulks. That's the second episode. We're starting optics. going to be all over the place, though. I like being all over the place. Forgive me. MarvelManiacPod@gmail.com. I want your take. I want to know what you thought about these first two. Were they slow? No. I'll be honest. They did slow. I mean, they did slow it down to give us weight to the story. And I think most of the scenes that Matt was being a lawyer or whatever else was happening, Matt defending that guy from the beginning who was the corrupt cop story thing is like just a whole other thing of its own at this point. The guy that was trying to tell Wilson he'll get him out of office, he ends up getting blackmailed by Fisk. So Fisk is doing the dirty already. He takes out a picture and shows it. It's of the guy's wife and child. So like Fisk is still doing it, and this guy, he's gonna do something bad to Fisk because he's like, we'll see if this pays off for you or something like that. Like he walks away very snarky. This hard ass cop. We're going to see more of him this season. I just know it. I have Fisk falls a hole. I'm like, when did he fall in a hole? No, Fisk fills hole. That moment where he got in the middle of the street and told the construction workers to start filling it. Maybe against the law, not in his authority, but he did it. Made him look good. A people's person. Ben Urich from the previous series who died and was murdered by Fisk or in relation to Fisk. Oh, gosh, his niece is in this. And I wonder if that's going to come to play. Maybe she knows that secretly, trying to get revenge. He has so many demons in his closet. Personally, it is a little hard to believe that Fisk is being mayor. But I guess, anything's possible, as they say. So Ben Urich's niece shows up. I think that's going to be for later. If you lose the cops, you lose the city. That's what Urich said. The girl Urich. So he needs to gain back the trust of the police, is what she's saying. The therapist that Daredevil's kind of hooking up with right now, no longer Jen Walters, a.k.a. She-Hulk. I was just like, it's a fling, I suppose. I would really like to see She-Hulk in this show. I don't think it's fair for people to be like, no, she shouldn't be in it. No, she should. He showed up in her show. Well, he showed up in her show. Why can't she show up in his? Seriously. Well, because this is a more established show, and I guess they have the upper hand in a sense. Maybe Disney doesn't want it. I don't know. Maybe they don't want the CGI. I don't get it. Why even introduce She-Hulk if you're going to be annoyed by the amount of CGI she needs to make it big? Some scenes are beautiful. Some scenes look out of a PlayStation 3 game. And I can be honest about that. Because that's not what we as the fans deserve. Me, Mr. Honest, your new mayor of Marvel Maniac and MCU After Show. Nobody's voting for me. Okay, that's fine. That's okay. Anyway, Fisk goes to that cop's funeral. That was when that guy told him off. See, my notes are far more all over the place because I'm going off of memory. I'm not really reading them. I don't know why I even take them. I guess Matt shames this guy for being a vigilante, even though he was one. I didn't like that. But there's a double standard. I even wrote in parentheses, double standard. These crooked cops, Matt sees them, and the one guy that can prove that his client was accidentally, totally thrown under the bus for this thing, murdering the cops. They were going to try and kill the witness, so Matt had to fight in his regular clothes, like Daredevil, and he whipped their ass. It was so good to see. He beat the shit out of these guys because they were kicking him on the ground and stuff. So it was really cool to see him kick some freaking ass again. That was kind of the big action at the end of the episode. Matt screaming at the end, and he's not happy in general. He's not happy. He may as well have killed these guys. That's not what Daredevil does. If he's starting to kill people, he's doing the dark. I want to see him get in that uniform again. I don't want to wait 5 episodes. It's been too long. He should feel this way about Foggy, but come on, put the suit back on. Let's go. Let's get the superhero adventures rolling. If I'm thinking of the right guy, this guy named Cherry, he knows he's Daredevil because he was there the night that Foggy was killed on the roof with Matt, and Matt dropped his hat off the roof. Not hat, superhero mask. And he was pretty surprised, but he seems to be a bit of a voice of reason in Matt's life. Somebody that maybe Matt could kind of look up to. Someone for him to lose eventually if you sick writers want to keep killing everybody around him. I'm sorry. I'm joking, but it was brutal. That beginning scene was the biggest was the talk about rave moment. I'm happy I talked about it right away because I'm still like flabbergasted by it. And it was crazy how many innocent people Bullseye killed too. I don't know if we've seen a villain in the MCU that brutal, but then you think of Loki in the Battle of New York, and we need new numbers on that Battle of New York. I'd say like hundreds of people probably died. They say like 12 to 13, I think, in the Captain America Civil War. I don't remember, but all I know is Battle of New York, big thing. The night that Daredevil lost his heart, his best friend, that was the night that he started to become born again. He's not the same person. You're trying to fight to protect your city, let alone your people, and your best friend dies because you got tricked by this jerk who had it out for you and not even him. The guy wanted to take away the worst thing you could do is he wanted to take away something that Matt loved, someone who Matt loved, and he wanted to hurt Matt where it would hurt most, in the heart. And that is probably the most supervillain you can get and the most evil that can be displayed. Even Thanos has fucking morals better than this guy. And the fact that he lived, I don't know what's going to happen with him. I actually am a little, I'm not mad. I think the show did a great job of opening like a huge movie. I just think that the death of Foggy is going to drive Matt through this season. And sadly, like, I don't want to say it, but like, that's kind of what needed to happen to get Matt there. When he puts the mask back on in the suit, please don't let it be the last episode. I just want to see him in the suit more. Like, the first season doesn't have a suit. Second season finally has a suit. Third season, guy steals his suit. Where's the first suit from the second? He's always wearing this black outfit. Like, it's kind of like his Spider-Man starter outfit. But I learned to like it because it's its own thing. It's like a darker, grittier version of what Daredevil could look like. He wore it all first season until the end when he debuted the suit. A lot of Wilson Fisk kind of letting his new morals be pushed aside by Vanessa, the new big bad. I don't think she needs as much protecting as she had before. She's like a badass meanie, and he just loves her still. He's so simple. It's so simple. The craziness, the madness, the killing. He does it all in the name of love. Fisk is such a complex, great character. I'm so excited to see more of him this year in this movie and potentially in a Spider-Man movie. That would be the cake. I know we don't like it, but if they push everything up a year, there will be plenty of time to let Spider-Man have 2 movies. One before Secret Wars and one in the middle of it. And they both will be as good because they're Spider-Man movies, right? And Spider-Man and Kingpin go back. That team up with Daredevil is insane and kind of nodded to in No Way Home. So I got a good feeling about something like that happening. If they push up the dates, as mad as you might be, think about quality. Think about that movie could be horrible or it could be great. Think about the difference that time can make for a bad movie to turn into a movie we all want to see. It sucks that we got here. COVID did push things back in the beginning. We're not making excuses. I think Marvel is learning what their fans want and don't want, and they're doing their best to reciprocate in a timely manner. You know, as a fan, that's all I could really ask. I don't know about you. I thought this was great. Matt screams at the end. I think I said that 5 times. That was my notes. A lot of stuff happened that was kind of like building up to more to happen this season. So I think this show, I give it a 8 out of 10 today. Both episodes. I think they put so much into that opening sequence, it kind of like left your heart racing. So I kind of wanted the show to pick up a little bit more after that. But they kind of took us through the old rework theme song and then got us into the show. And it's a 1 year later. So it is kind of starting from a slower point after that big opening, which, you know, like brilliant. Just Matt keeping his identities apart and slipping back into that Daredevil persona, even when he isn't decked out in his uniform. And he really is going to go full Daredevil soon, I hope. It seems like the city is kind of getting a little reckless because of Fisk being mayor. And now we know Fisk is blackmailing people again. So we know that he is definitely not going to be like entirely good. However, I do think there will be a greater evil. We've seen it. We've seen the movie trailers for this. There's just another factor. I don't know who he is. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to say much more about it. I don't want to spoil anything if you don't want to know about it. But that's Ben, Daredevil, Born Again today. I'm surprised. We're actually hitting 39 minutes. I feel like it's been like 5 minutes. I've been ranting about it. What do you think of that type of episode, guys? MarvelManiacPod@gmail.com. I'm all about the listener. I want to give out the best to the best, which is you. I do my show in a lot of different styles. This one was kind of react, and I guess theorize where the show can go from here. It can go anywhere. I mean, where can't the show go from here? I expect at least a cameo from the MCU, a decent one. Like I want a cameo, not just a Wong. I'm sorry, we got our Wong deal back in 2022. We got Steam and everything. Let's get Star-Lord in there or something. You know, he's on Earth. Let's get Star-Lord chilling with there. I don't know how that'll happen. I don't know how Star-Lord actually ended up being the main hero of Endgame, but it did. The MCU is a magical place where we all go to live in our superhero fantasies. Sorry, I'm not speaking for you. It's kind of just what I do. Enough of me trying to be funny. People say that you're least funny when you're trying to be. Definitely for me, that is the case. I'm holding on too long. I don't want this episode to end. I want Daredevil. I want all of it now. It would be kind of stressful though, I guess, to like have it all released and then be like, okay, one a day, and it'd be like too much. So I appreciate the week-to-week primetime hours. I'm gonna get this out by midnight, just like my schedule promises. So until next episode, which there's a few things up in the air. I'm not sure what I'm covering yet. In our About section, we got a tip jar. Leave us anything, nothing, either way. It just goes to show support towards the show and pay the bills. Like for anyone else. And no pressure. Always appreciated, never expected. And if you would like to lay down your opinion one more time, MarvelManiacPod@gmail.com. We want your perspective. And I'll be honest. We've gotten a couple emails, but not like I've hoped for. I want more emails. Thanks for being here. Thanks for giving me your time. I hope this season works out for everyone. I hope everyone loved that episode like I did. If you didn't, what would you have done different? Email me. We will see you Friday for another episode. And until then, Avengers, disassemble.